John Cena taps out. What does it mean? John Cena has his retirement match, and I don't know how many times I've watched John Cena's last match. I don't know how many times that same insincere story has been told. I can only tell you this wasn't the first time, but I do feel it's the last. I think that was John Cena's retirement match. It felt like it was. The other retirement matches by John Cena felt like promotional tours. They felt like a piece of the puzzle that was coming together. And the word last match or the term retirement match or the term final match, like however you wanted to try to play with that language while winking and simultaneously letting your audience know, I'm not lying to you. I'm just telling you a story. Like whatever words they needed to use, they did. But this felt different. I believe that John Cena is retired, which means John Cena will not wrestle again until he wrestles again. But at any rate, it did feel different. And Gunther. Now this is the second scalp Gunther's taken in this calendar year. Gunther's the one that had to go and work with Goldberg. Remember the night they told Goldberg it was a retirement party because there was no other way to get him there to do the job? They literally had to pretend that the event was there to celebrate him, and then at the end let him know that it's his face is like, yeah, this cake, it's all for your birthday, and then he finds out he's going to get the cake smashed into his face. Do you remember when they did that? That was Gunther. Gunther had the responsibility of working with Goldberg that night. And now you have, and by the way, right, you're dealing with a very different ego. And as badly as the company wanted to give Goldberg a bump, as badly as they were willing to pretend to the world that it was a celebration of Goldberg's career, like whatever one worker had to do to get another worker there, it was one of these things, and that was really the great part. That really was the great part of it all, is watching these two workers out hustle and out connive one another. But like always, eventually the house wins. But when you do get to the final segment of the night, you do not have something as clear as a tap out. You don't even have something as clear as what we call a clean 1, 2, 3. Right? It was the best Goldberg could do. He's trying. He doesn't want to be the way he is. He doesn't want to be but he is. It's the best that he can do. I'll show up, I'll put the trunks, and then we'll do something that's really close to what needs to be done, or what you would like me to do, or what you have brought me here to have done. We'll do something really close to that. But that is the best that I can do. All right. Cena went a step further. And I get it, but there's an artistic attempt to relay a specific message. And I'm wondering what that is. I'm wondering what your thought of that would be. All Cena needed to do is make that walk for his last time. All Cena really needed to do from a marketing standpoint, if that is in fact his last walk, is to make marks like me believe it's his last walk. And he did. I am very comfortable in telling you that Cena will not wrestle again until he wrestles again. But that was his job from a marketing standpoint, and he did it. When he walked to the ring that night, his job was already done. So when the booker comes in and tells him that he's going to go under, of which he already knew, they then can have a free thought process of how, if they're talking with somebody that they respect and that they trust, and they do respect and they do trust John. And I don't believe that the booker came in and said, John, you're going to tap out. I don't believe that. I don't believe it any more than I believe that the booker came in and told Undertaker, you're going to put Lesnar over at Survivor Series. I believe that Taker said, here's the thing to do, and I'm putting Brock over. And everybody's like, what? That's what I believe. And I know that Cena was supposed to get beat. It would be an injustice if he was supposed to go out with a W. But I don't believe that the booker asked him to tap. I don't believe a booker would come in with the balls big enough to require to ask somebody like Cena to tap. I'm not even sure that they needed a clean 1, 2, 3. I think they would have taken a Fugazi one. I think they would have let whatever they'd be willing to do for Bill Goldberg. Obviously, they're willing to do much more for John Cena. So if they were willing just to get Goldberg's crickety ass, put his shoulders down for a 3 count, they would let John take the chair shot. They would let John take the 2-on-1. They would let Dave run in and replace Earl while he's down with the earpiece hanging out. Vince yelling at him from Gorilla. And you smart marks will know that I'm speaking English right now. I think John must have told them, I'm going to tap. And I will just tell you, as an amateur wrestler, like, it is a misgiving that we tell the world that the most dominant thing that we can have done to us is to be pinned. That's a misgiving. Pinfall, that's just something people understand. It's not true. You can get caught and get pinned. I watched Spencer Lee 3 weeks ago ahead by 5 points. And his shoulders go down. It'll end the match. The most dominant thing you can do is a technical fall. The most dominant thing you can do is to have somebody surrender. Technical fall in the world of wrestling, guys. Think about baseball with Little League. They have something called a mercy rule, where if one team is ahead by an unreasonable amount of points, the referee will just step in and stop the game. Say it is not reasonable that we're going to get any other outcome, and there's no point in continuing this beating. That is what a technical fall in wrestling would come down to, or in the world of professional wrestling, to tap out, to say, I'm done. And you must understand, and I don't know that John does. See, this is the problem. When you start trying to get artistic, you can start overthinking things. Right? It's why you'll have these artists that are revered and studied, but they're really weirdos that cut off their own ear and died a boring life with no money and no girlfriend, right? Like they're not actually a celebrated group. They're a bunch of nerds. But you get a bigger bunch of nerds to come in and to analyze it and tell them how wonderful and how spiritually uplifting it is. But see, therein lies the problem. Like, I don't know that Cena's not a real life badass to an extent that I could know that he knows tapping out to a choke would be the forbidden fruit. Like it's one thing to go out and tap out and surrender and say, I've had enough. This is no longer for me. You are better. You are more dominant. Tonight belongs to you. There's a number of ways to do that. I don't know that John, in real life, I don't know that he understands the greater significance of tapping to a choke. John is put into a position where if John does absolutely nothing, he falls asleep and he loses the match. Per the rules of professional wrestling, if John does nothing at all, doesn't have to breathe different, doesn't have to wink different, nothing at all. If John does nothing at all, he falls asleep, he loses the match. When he gains consciousness, He will be fine. We will not need a doctor or an emergency room or a gurney. We won't need the light in your eyes, the smelling salts, or a prayer. He is put in a chokehold to which, if he did nothing at all, he peacefully falls asleep and he peacefully regains consciousness. Now that's the part that is either an artistic demonstration of brilliance that I'm trying to uncover right now. Wow. What message were you trying to relay? What were you trying to relay to the audience? What shine were you trying to put on Gunther and story you were trying to tell about yourself? The problem is, John's not a legit tough guy. John didn't take shoot training classes anywhere in his life that I've ever heard of. So if he was to be put in a sharpshooter, or if he was to be put in a figure four, the tap and the surrender would have been due to pain. I'm going to tap. I'm going to trade tonight. And I'm going to trade my possible glorious moment for the stability of my leg. So that you don't snap my leg, I am going to have to surrender to you at this time. But that's not what happened here. He tapped in a choke. Now, there would be nothing deservingly enough done by Gunther and the wonderful career that Gunther has had. One of the greats right now, and I'm very happy for him. But there would be nothing within the back preview of Gunther's career that would warrant this display by John. Not to tap to a choke. However, I do run into the problem that I could be reading further into this because John doesn't know that he tapped to a choke, perhaps. Perhaps John Cena knows so little about actual combat, and this is not meant as an insult, by the way. There's just no other way to say it, right? You have tough guys and you have guys that are not tough guys. John may be in such a category of not tough guy that he doesn't know what he just did. That no one smartened him. That Lesnar didn't grab him, or CM Punk didn't grab him, or Shane O'Mac grabbed him, like somebody that actually knows martial arts. Grab him in the back and go, hey, dude. For you to lose is a big deal. For you to lose clean, man, you're a legend. You're doing more for this business than most would, but somebody ribbed him. That's the third option. I do not have information. I'm left to guess and I'm left to interpret. But my guess and my interpretation is Cena just got ribbed. I think Cena knows so little about actual combat that he does not understand the significance of tapping to a choke. That's what I believe. I believe somebody in that organization that likely confronted John and worked this script out with him. I believe John thought he was talking to a friend. And I believe that it was not for my peace right here, right now, that friend that stabbed John in the back would have gotten away with it.